Welcome to our house. This is the Screenplay Podcast. I'm your host, Evan Grennis, and with me, as always, a PGA Tour champion, Andrew Novak.
Hey, what's up, everyone? A little under the weather today, but we're powering through. If I sound a little different, I apologize, but we got some football to talk about.
Don't forget to check us out on YouTube at Screenplay_podcast. Like and subscribe. We are on socials at Screenplay_podcast. New episodes every Wednesday, 8 a.m., wherever you listen to podcasts. We have also launched the screenplaypodcast.com. On there, you can find our guest list, merch, picks of the week, and more. So get on there, buy some merch, support. Just finished week 1 of the NFL. A lot of new listeners this year. So for those who who haven't listened to us in the past, we kind of have a format we take on for the regular season. We'll go through some of the most important games that we saw this week. We'll hit power rankings. We'll get into fantasy. And then, as always, we'll finish it off with the lines, the gambling of the week, and we'll take you through the Survivor Pool, new segment this year. So let's get right into it. Monday Night Football. Vikings defeat the Bears 27-24. I'm just going to ask before we even get into this. Moving forward, straight up, would you take J.J. McCarthy or Caleb Williams to start your franchise?
I thought JJ was the more accurate passer in the game. Caleb, outside of that first script, was pretty rough. Maybe a little bit depends on what I'm doing, but I think both can use their legs. I like what I saw at the end with JJ. I'm going to take the winner.
I liked what I saw with JJ's legs. I think he only had 3 rushing touchdowns in college, and he just scored one of them in his first NFL game. I'm going to be honest. I think Caleb Williams kind of sucks. I think his intangibles are just not there. When I watch him play, I think it takes him about half a second too long to throw the football, and by the time he does throw it, it's not placed accurately enough. One of the biggest things I noticed about Caleb Williams in this game was his ball placement, not on longer throws, but just like short little throws, was absolutely terrible. Where when the ball has to be placed in a specific area for the player to get it, make a move, and go for the yards after catch, he just can't hit the spots that he needs to hit. And I'm talking like the minute details of like a ball is a foot this way and a foot that way to get the guy the yak after the catch. Goff was great with that. And from what I've seen through one game, Caleb was all over the map. It was terrible. I did not like what I saw.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, there was a Loveland catch maybe in the first half where he had to reach all the way back behind him. I think it was probably just on a drag or something. And I mean, yeah, he had. I guess he had a few of those. There was a swing out
and then going yards after catch and getting 6 or 7 yards versus like 2 or 3. Like that's a big difference over the course of a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you mentioned that first drive. So first drive, Caleb 6 for 6 scored. They looked really good in that first drive, and I was like, oh, they got it together, but it was all scripted. It went downhill from there. It wasn't good.
Yeah, that is a little bit of Ben Johnson there. I mean, he's cooking up some good calls. A lot of it, he was getting off first reads. He had a few dump offs on that first drive, and it just seemed very easy. I think he even had a few guys open that he could have gone to. He kind of, took the easier thing early on, and I want to say of his like first 4 or 5 passes, 3 of them ended up going to running backs, and then pretty much had very little to do with checkdowns the rest of the game. Not much use of getting it out to the running backs in space. So Swift, like on a guy you could probably hand it off to in the backfield and let him kind of churn out some yardage. But Swift, that's what he does. Like get it out to the flats, get the ball to him in space. I think it's just kind of utilizing your playmakers in positions where they're better used versus, handing it up the middle to Swift 15 to 20 times.
Fantasy-wise, Swift didn't have like a crazy game, but this season, after seeing how they used Swift in that first game, like I'm excited about him. 17 carries, 3 for 5 receptions. That's a starting player on your fantasy team. I think Swift is going to have a better year than he did last year. Let's look at
decent volume. The efficiency was not very good, but decent volume. Yeah,
the volume was there. If you throw a touchdown, you get another reception, get another 20, 30 yards out of that. Yeah, I think the volume is there for Swift. Let's look at J.J. McCarthy for a second. Complete opposite end of the spectrum on this game. J.J. looked absolutely terrible for 2.5, 3 quarters. I did not like what I saw for a while. Terrible pick six. When they got that pick six, I started thinking, this is bad. This game might be over. After that pick six, J.J. McCarthy looked pretty good, and my view changed on him pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think a lot of it flipped when the Vikings got the running game going. They started getting Jordan Mason in there.
Yep.
Jordan Mason was really turning out some yards in the run game, which opened up Aaron Jones in the passing game a little bit. I think JJ was a lot more comfortable once the run game got going, just keeping chains moving and getting in a bit of a rhythm because before then, I mean, I think I mean, they didn't have much at all rushing yards in the first half. They didn't get anything going at all in the first half. I felt like there was no momentum. But once they kind of got it rolling, he got a lot more comfortable, it seemed.
Yeah, so Mason had 15 carries for 68 yards, one reception. Aaron Jones Sr., he put senior on his name this year. He had 8 carries, 23 yards, 3 receptions. So it looks like they're using Aaron Jones, like you said, a little more out of the passing game. And Jordan Mason's probably going to get. It looks like he's taken over the carry work in the Vikings this year.
Yeah, I think it may just be like a little bit of a hot hand thing. I don't know if I would fully trust like Jordan Mason, like, oh, he's going to be getting 15 plus a game, but he definitely was the hotter hand yesterday. I think with Aaron Jones' ability to catch the football, though, it is kind of nice to have those two options.
I was thinking a lot about our guest from 2 weeks ago, Jason Shulroff. Like, I was nervous watching this Bears game for him. Like, I honestly, I personally don't care about like the Vikings or the Bears and the results of this game, but just like talking to him a couple weeks ago and trying to imagine what it's like being a Bears fan leaving that stadium on Monday night, like it's got to feel bad. You want Caleb Williams to be the savior, and it's just, oh man, it's tough watching. Like, how do you go to work Tuesday morning after watching that, being up 17-6 going into the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, and frankly, it was a failure at all levels. The offense completely fell apart. They stopped being able to move the ball consistently. They couldn't pick up first downs. The defense obviously started breaking down. They'd been good for pretty much the first 3 quarters. The fourth quarter couldn't do anything, and then Ben Johnson showed his rookiness, I guess, as a head coach. A massive coaching error at the end of the game. They had one timeout left. They scored. Great job offense marching down, scoring just before the 2-minute warning, and you burn that by kicking off deep. All you have to do with the new kickoff rules, tee it up and kick it 10 yards.
We were talking about that. Yeah,
it's an automatic flag. Ball goes to the 40, but you save an extra timeout. You stopped them in 3 plays. They punted inside your 20 anyway. So what you would have had was 50 seconds and no timeouts instead of 10 or 15 seconds or whatever they had. I mean, we're talking the difference of 35, 40 seconds essentially that you cost yourself by doing that. I mean, that's an inexcusable, and that's something that the best coaches in the NFL don't make. They don't make rules mistakes. That's something that Belichick was crazy about, is like using the rules to his advantage, understanding situations like that. And that's just, that's something that Ben Johnson's going to have to learn from.
All right, let's get to Thursday Night Football. Eagles defeat the Cowboys 24-20. This is the Jalen Carter spit game.
Yeah,
that was crazy. That was wild. I didn't even know what was happening there. I mean, before the season even starts, you got Jalen Carter going to the locker room, spitting on Dak Prescott. The camera angle of Dak spitting, it probably took 20 or 30 minutes for that camera angle to like come out. So originally I thought Jalen Carter just straight up spit on him. It was a weird situation. Even Dak spitting towards him, it was a weird situation.
It's just so tough to tell from that like he might have been 10, 15 yards away from that camera angle. Like it's hard to know. It was just a
weird way to start the season. It was such a weird way to start the season. I was like, did they script that into the first game to get some controversy? Yeah. Like what was going on? I don't know. It was weird. I will say the Cowboys looked better than I thought. I thought Dak looked pretty good. I thought he looked better than last season. And then my other takeaway is Pickens, 6 points. I told y'all. George Pickens is just not going to be a great fantasy value. I mean, it's week 1, but still, Brandon Aubrey doubled his fantasy points. What did you see from this game?
Yeah, I'm not surprised that we saw the chippiness. I feel like across the board there was a decent bit of chippiness week 1. I think guys were just ready to play football. But yeah, the Eagles losing their best interior player before the game even starts was probably not how they were hoping.
Really happy about that. You know who's really happy about that?
Javonte Williams.
There we go. Yes. Same exact time.
Yep. That definitely opened things up a little bit for him. He looked pretty good. He had a little, he's pushing piles, nothing crazy, but very similar to kind of what we saw from Rico Dowdle last year for the Cowboys. So pleasant surprise there for Dallas. I mean, I thought Dallas played very well in this game. Dallas played easily well enough to win this game. Costly drops, some silly stuff late, like typical like Cowboys stuff. But yeah, I think this is going to be, you know, a decent Cowboys team from what I saw. Definitely looking a little bit better than the Giants, which I thought they were going to be closer to maybe the Giants versus the top teams in this division.
Yeah, I think offensively the Cowboys are going to be okay. I will say I thought Kenny Clark on the defensive side did play okay for Dallas. I think they stopped the run pretty well. If before the game you told Dallas, "Hey, Saquon's only going to have 84 total yards," I think they would probably take that. They hung in this game a lot better than I thought they would. They stopped Saquon pretty well. Obviously, AJ Brown did nothing. So, yeah, the Cowboys did play better than I expected, but as the season goes on, I think the defense will get a little worse, and the offense will continue churning out points, and we're still going to see this 6, 7, 8 win Cowboys team that we predicted. So yeah, they're better than I expected, but I wouldn't get too high
Yeah.
on the Cowboys off that performance.
This was a very weird game for Philly's offense.
We got to talk about
J-
AJ Brown.
so I'm gonna kind of go into that. So Jalen Hurts in this game, he had a 50+ yard completion to Jahan Dotson, a big bomb.
Right.
Even despite that, he had the single lowest A dot of any quarterback in the NFL this week. That's average depth of target. And I think a lot of that is to do with AJ Brown. He didn't look right out there. He didn't look full speed. He was coming off a hamstring injury in camp. I got to think that was maybe still bugging him or something because that just didn't look right. Jalen Hurts has been for the last 3 years like top 10 in average depth of target. I mean that comes with having a AJ Brown and a Devontae Smith, but still, this was definitely a different look to their offense than more of that grind it out and then take your shots. This was a little bit more of like Goddard underneath, some dink and dunks, some screens to Smith, but really nothing down the field.
I thought for a while that this was just like the ultimate respect thing and that they were just guarding AJ Brown really well and they couldn't hit him. And then as the game went on, I was like, okay, something's weird. And then a couple times in the second half, I saw Jalen Hurts literally look at AJ Brown to throw him the ball and then just go to his second and third read. And I was like, okay, like he's not throwing it to him. After the game, I saw it come out, the stat report on separation rate. AJ Brown had a 0% separation rate. So not once the entire game did he get any separation. So the target share towards AJ Brown was kind of warranted of one target. I mean, he wasn't playing well. I don't know. Like you're saying, he might have some sort of a hamstring thing the team might know about and purposely didn't put him in the game plan as much.
I think like literally left in as sort of a decoy as he's still
Right.
coming back because he
Right.
can't quite open it up yet or something. I don't know. But their offense definitely looked different from what we would typically see with an Eagles team.
Yeah, well, it's definitely something to keep an eye on moving forward. Let's get into the next game. Friday football from Brazil. Chargers defeat the Chiefs 27-21. Home opener, division game in Brazil. I don't know how I feel about that. If this game was just two teams, non-division, opener, whatever, fine, in Brazil. But the fact that the Chargers are getting a home game taken away from them for this, I'm not a huge fan of it. They did get the win, so at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. But I think it's kind of a weird feeling playing international first week division game. What do you think about that?
I see it kind of two ways. Like, yes, that sucks for the Chargers, and of course, it's the Chiefs that are like the ones being gifted not having to go. But also for the Chargers, like realistically, they might have had more fans at this game in Brazil. So, like,
Okay, fair
I
enough.
don't, I don't know.
Biggest story of this game. Travis Kelsey taking out Xavier Worthy. This is why you do not play football when you're 165 pounds.
Yeah, that was not a good start to the season for them.
I mean, it's kind of the concern about Xavier Worthy, like not necessarily running into Travis Kelsey, but the concern about Xavier Worthy is, can he last a full season? Can he handle the target share? He's just a small guy and not a lot of weight. And I mean, I saw it when you're not looking and Travis Kelsey hits you running full speed, like it's going to hurt. It would hurt you, hurt me. But still, that's definitely one of the worries about Xavier Worthy coming into seasons.
Yeah, obviously being down Rashee Rice already because of the suspension, like they kind of needed those guys. Now Hollywood did step up and did a lot of work underneath, and did some of that stuff. But yeah, it definitely takes a piece of your offense. I'm sure he was probably a major part of the game plan, and that's just instantly gone. Second play of the game. So I don't know. I still thought the Chargers just flat out outplayed them,
Oh, definitely for
but
sure. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean for the Chiefs, that's definitely not how you want to start your season. It's kind of interesting. You got the Chiefs and the Eagles both losing somewhat key guys just immediately as their first game start.
Yeah, the Chiefs look flustered on offense. It's almost like they really planned a lot of Xavier Worthy like in the first half, and then he went out, and they were like, "Uh oh, what do we do?" That being said, I've said for the past couple of years, I think Mahomes' fantasy value has been going down. I watched him play that game; it looked pretty good. He looked like he's back to retro Mahomes. 24 of 39, 258, one touchdown, 26 fantasy points. His running ability looked good. Same for Herbert too. I think this can be a big year for Herbert's running ability. Harbaugh might want him using his legs more. 25 for 34, 318, three touchdowns, 28 fantasy points. Could this be an MVP year for Herbert? Maybe.
This is definitely the best supporting cast he's ever had. Obviously, losing Slater was like brutal because I mean that was a major piece of the offensive line, but the pieces around him, you've got an elite running back. I think Keenan's still got some juice. Ladd, if QJ is going to take the jump, then yeah, this is his best supporting cast, which is not really saying a lot because I don't think he's really had particularly great help. But he looked good. I think he's always been like pretty mobile, like when he needs to be. Um, he used it to his advantage in this game, and yeah, he's got a cannon. I mean, this is one of the guys that I think could break through into that like top tier of quarterbacks if he can kind of get on a run because he has all the pieces. He has the arm. He has the ability to move around. He has the ability to make those crazy splash plays that you
I think
see
it's just
like
the big
everybody
games,
tweeting.
winning the big games for Herbert. This
Definitely, yeah.
this was one of the big games. So yeah, it was good to
Right.
see.
No, definitely. Like we were gonna have to see more of that going forward, but I think he has that top level ceiling where yes, I could see him in an MVP race. I think it's gonna be hard to beat a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson for that. But I think if you get your name up in there, like people are definitely gonna be respecting you.
We think of like Harbaugh, we think of the Chargers as like a very physical run first team. They drafted Hampton. They have Najee coming out this week in Brazil. I expected to see Hampton with 20 plus carries. I expected to see Najee with probably 5 or 6 carries, just being physical, keep the ball away from Mahomes. That is exactly the opposite of how they played this week. Hampton with 15 carries, Najee with only one. QJ, Ladd, and Keenan just taking in a bunch of targets. You think they're going to keep playing this way, or is this like a hey, let's throw this out here week one, trick the Chiefs, and see if it holds up?
They were doing it last year. I felt like at the end of the year they started slinging it a little bit more, letting Justin Herbert just do him, and it worked. It just worked better. I mean, there was obviously issues with drops and whatnot last year. They had some guys struggling, but I think this team is just better when you let Herbert be him. I mean, he is a very good football player. I know he had like the disaster playoff game or whatever, but I think that you got to roll with your guy. I think Hampton will be a very good player. I think he's going to get a ton of usage still. That's just, I mean, you're going to see that with Harbaugh, but yeah, I think this offense has all the pieces to be a top five unit in the NFL.
All right. Next week, Eagles are coming into Arrowhead. That's going to be a really good game. And then Chargers are playing at the Raiders. All right, let's get to the next game. Steelers defeat the Jets 34-32. The over-under on this game was 38.5, and total points, 66. So if you had that on your card, good hit. Yeah, over-under 38.5, and pretty much each team scored 38.5. So way on the over. What a great game. I mean, awesome game here. Rodgers goes 22 of 30 for 244 and 4 touchdowns. Fields goes 16 of 22 for 218, a touchdown, 12 carries, 48 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They both had very similar fantasy points, and they got them completely opposite ways. Rodgers goes with 26 fantasy points, and Fields goes with almost 30. But Fields does it through the rushing, 12 carries, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Rodgers, 1 carry, -1 yard, so he did it all through the air. Both quarterbacks, I will say, okay, both quarterbacks under the proper cap hit are really good quarterbacks. So 2025, this year, Justin Fields is taking a cap hit of $8 million. Next year, it bumps up. This year, Rodgers has taken a cap hit of $14 million. So these are both, Rodgers is an all-time quarterback and Fields is, for what we think, a good quarterback. When you get these guys on a low cap hit and you can load it up around them, like, their teams are pretty good. They're not bad. They can put points up. You don't see that?
Yeah, I think.
Listen, I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't start a team with him. I wouldn't want to play a season with him. Now, if you tell me we're paying Rodgers $14 million on our cap hit, I'm like, okay, I might start my team around. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't pay him that much, you build around him. Like, he's still a good quarterback. And it's the same thing with Fields here, too.
Yeah, I'm going to have to see him play other teams before I start committing to things. I am open to listening to, like, hey, Rodgers is getting far enough off this Achilles thing that he's actually starting to feel good. I don't think he's moving very well still, but he did just throw 4 touchdowns in a row for 2 games in a row because he did it week 18 last year as well. The time before that, the last time he had thrown 4 touchdowns in a game before that was week 14, 2021. So maybe there is some sort of, he's kind of getting it back. I mean, he's 40-something years old. Like, he's not going to be, like, in his prime. But, yeah, maybe he is delivering it well in the system.
Now, I'm not saying the Steelers are going to go out
it.
and win 13 games. I still think they're going to go, 9-8 and, like, miss the playoffs.
They'll go 9-8.
But I did like what I saw out of both of these quarterbacks. Just with the cap hits they're on. Remember a couple of weeks ago, I was like, "Hey, Calvin Austin III, keep your eye on him. I think he's gonna do something in the Steelers' office." And you were like, "I don't even know if he's gonna catch any balls on the Steelers."
Dude,
no.
I honestly I thought Roman Wilson was gonna be like, dude, I
4
can't
for
believe
6,
you
70
hit that
yards
call.
and a touchdown. Calvin Austin III. I don't know if that'll stay
Can't believe
going.
you hit that one.
But yeah, I think he's gonna catch some balls from Aaron Rodgers this year.
Yeah.
Brian.
I mean, he absolutely was a piece of that offense.
He's
so,
gonna
yeah.
have a piece of that offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought it looked good. Again, we got to see them play some other football teams here. I thought Justin Fields play really well. Garrett Wilson, exactly 40% target share in game 1. You said that a couple weeks ago. You're like, you know what? It's not going to be crazy if Garrett Wilson has 40% target share. So spot on after 1 week. We'll see how that keeps going. Anything else to really look at on this game?
No, I mean, this was a fun game. I think both teams, for the most part, were what we expect. Like, we expected to see the Jets running the ball a ton, and that's what they did. They almost doubled up their runs versus passing, but it was efficient. It worked. The run opened up the passing. I mean, it was probably one of Fields' best passing games in the NFL. And, I mean, the Steelers, I think we expected to see more out of their defense, but offensively, like, yeah, this is kind of what, like, you were hoping to see. If they were going to be as good as you were hoping they could be, like, for Steelers fans, as good as they were hoping it could be, it was going to probably be through Rodgers throwing the ball, DK making some plays, and I don't know, some other guys just kind of making it work, and that's kind of what it was.
All right, let's get to Sunday Night Football. Last game we're going to talk about here. Bills defeat the Ravens 41-40. Insane game. Game of the week, maybe game of the year, week 1. You got Josh Allen down 15 points entering the fourth quarter. You got fans leaving the stadium. I don't think Allen was happy about that. He said that a couple of times in press conferences after the game, like, oh, you got fans leaving the game. And either way, whatever. Lamar, Harbaugh, Ravens, they are making a habit out of this, giving up late big leads. They do this a lot. If there's a team that does it a lot, it's kind of the Ravens. You can throw the 49ers in there. Kind of, it's the run teams. The run teams like giving up these leads. What is it? What do you see about
it? Doesn't make sense because the Ravens
It doesn't.
Realistically, they should, like, the Ravens should be the perfect team to be built to like lock down leads. Like, you shouldn't be able to, like, take a lead off the Ravens. They have Lamar and Derrick Henry. Like, if they need a first down, they're going to go get one.
If Henry does not fumble the ball, they likely win this game.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a fluke there, but still, like, they do this a lot. They just do.
Oh.
At least twice a year, I will say. It seems like the Ravens have a comfortable lead, and then they end up losing something massive scoring game in this fashion. I personally think that this doesn't really affect them. They're still going to go on, win 11, 12, 13 games. We just want to see what they do in the postseason. But it's becoming a habit of getting up a lot of points And then they're just cool with like running the ball for a 3-and-out, punting it away, and like letting the other team try to come back. It seems.
Yeah, I mean, once they punted that one at the end there, I mean, it was kind of I felt like it was kind of fate sealed.
Did
Uh,
it before they went down to drive for that game-winning field goal? Like it kind of felt like this game's over and the field goal is gonna be hit by the like they're
yeah,
gonna get down the field and win. That's what it
unless like
felt
the
like.
dude missed the field goal or something, but like it
Right.
felt like for sure they're going to be getting a field goal kick out of this.
Well,
Um,
yeah. I mean, it was. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Like you said, it's
I
like they should be the
I
perfect team to be able to like get a big lead, pin their ears back, and just run the ball.
I
Um,
would have considered going for it. It was 4th and 3. If you get it, you win. The way the game had been going,
in the NFL nowadays, we're getting to the point where like you got to look across the field and be like, all right, who's the quarterback? Is it Allen? Is it Mahomes? Is it Lamar? Is it Burrow? Okay, if it's one of those guys, like we got to go for these 4th and 2, 4th and 3, put the game away because I can't give the ball back to them.
like like
It's over.
Buffalo was out of timeouts. Like you'd burned all their timeouts, but they still were going to have a minute 40. Like Baltimore still had all 3 timeouts. So even if you give up, even if you don't get the 4th down, if you could hold them to a field goal and use your timeouts, they kick the field goal. Maybe you still got a chance to go get a field goal. Like I don't know. Like I feel like going for it on 4th and 3 there is not that crazy because if you do get it, you can knee it out. Like Bills have no way to stop the clock. Like I honestly probably would have trusted the offense to get 3 yards there over the defense actually holding them out of field goal range.
Especially away in Orchard Park up there. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I like it. All right, those are the games we're gonna go over this week. Let's get into our power rankings. We're gonna let's see. We got one new team in the top 10 here, and got one team that fell out. But we're gonna go through the power rankings here. At number 10, I got the Broncos. I did not love how they looked. I think they were kind of playing around with the Titans. I think they were testing some things out. I think they knew their defense was going to win this game. Way too close for my liking, but Broncos at 10. At number 9, I got the Bucks. Last week they were number 8. They beat a division rival. Wasn't their greatest game. They definitely could have lost, so they're going to slide down a spot to number 9. At number 8, hopping into the top 10, I got the Rams. Last week they were unranked. They got a solid young D. They got Stafford. He looked okay. Puka looked good. Devontae, Kyron held the Texans to, what was it, like 9 or 10 points. I got the Rams at number 8. At 7, I got the Chiefs. This is kind of like a respect thing. If they lose again this week, they might drop down lower. They might drop down out of the top 10, but this week I still got to keep them in the top 10. They're still the Chiefs, so they're 0-1, but at 7, we got the Chiefs. At 6, Commanders. Last week they were number 7. Got a win over the Giants. They'll move up a spot. Debo, McLaurin, Daniels, they look good. They played the Giants. I want to see them play another team, see how they really are. At 5, we got the Chargers. Last week they were number 9, moving up to number 5. It feels like they got the pieces on offense now. They beat the Chiefs. Herbert's looking like a possible MVP. At 4, we got the Ravens. 0-1, but still a great team. Last week they were number 2. They're going to drop down a bit. It's all there. They got to stop blowing leads. They got to win some playoff games. The Ravens are going to be a contender all year. At 3, this could be a little low, honestly. I got the Packers. Last week, they were number 5. They added Micah. They looked great. The defenses looked good. Killed the Lions. All the pieces are there. At 2, I got the Bills. Last week, they were number 4. Their defense is a little small. They can give up some points, but they beat the Ravens. They look good. Nice comeback win there at home. Bills at 2. At 1, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. Last week, number 1. This week, number 1. No Jalen Carter. A.J. Brown didn't even really play, and they won the game. Jalen Hurts looked good. The Eagles, as long as they keep winning, I think they're going to stay in that top spot. All right, that was our power rankings. I will say I got the Steelers there at number 11, just outside the top 10. Oh, what do you got? How do you like that list there?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, it's so early. I'm
Yeah.
not going to get too crazy on things.
Are you cool with keeping the Chiefs in the top 10?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ravens, Chiefs both lose. Like, fine, keep them in there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
realistically, like they played good football teams and lost. I think the Ravens probably looked better than the Chiefs looked, just because the Ravens, I mean, pretty much
Right.
dominated the first 80% of that game. But yeah, no, I'm fine keeping the Chiefs in there. They've usually figured out.
All right, let's get into week 1, things we learned. So you watched some football this week. What are a couple takeaways that you learned from this week?
Yeah, I swear we had this conversation last year, but Now that they've gone down to one less preseason game, it seems like week one defenses just are like ahead of the offenses. Unders hit, games are pretty ugly. Nobody's putting up like 300-yard passing games really. Like it just the offenses just aren't quite there yet. And that's kind of what we saw this week. A lot of offenses that we know to be good were struggling. Like Joe Burrow threw for like 100 something yards. Like
They
it
love
just
it. The Bengals just love sucking in week one. It's just
yeah. But they won.
they should not have won. They should not have,
But
they
they
should not have
won.
won. Their kicker. I would be surprised if that kicker is still on the team after week one. Oh man. If 49ers got rid of Moody, expect the Browns to get rid of that Schmidt guy. Okay. Anything else you learned week one?
Yeah, you literally just said it, but the kickers, there were so many missed kicks this week. And they had come out and said something. I want to say the NFL changed the footballs this offseason
They allowed
to
the
make
kickers.
them
They allowed the kickers to like work with their balls. Like
right.
I don't know how bad.
So
that
they're
sounds, but
allowing
they're allowed
balls.
to work with their.
They're
balls.
allowing balls for kicking now that are supposed to be easier for the kickers to kick, but I saw a lot of missed kicks this week. I don't know if that was first week nerves or what, but it was pretty ugly out there in the kicking game.
You know
We
who
already
I'm
have.
out. You know who I'm out on is Young Wei Koo. I used to like that guy. It seems
Yeah,
like he misses a lot
they
of
just
like
signed-
important. He misses a lot.
They
of
just signed a
important
new
kicks.
kicker.
Yeah.
He's probably gone. And then the last thing, like I think Jackson Dart time's a lot closer in New York than what I had originally thought. I thought it would be like an end of the season sort of thing. Like this might be on us soon.
The media hype is getting real.
Yeah.
I don't know how badly Dayball wants to put him in because I believe what you said earlier, where like the longer they can keep Dart on the bench, the better chance it kind of keeps him to like work with Dart at the end of the season and get it going well into next season. I think
Yeah.
like if they get Dart in there for whatever 12, 13 games, and it like that's plenty of time to work with him, see that Dayball's not working, and get a new coach.
Yeah, but playing Russ for 10 plus games may be a fireable offense at that point. So
I think they're going 0. I forgot what their schedule is. It's bad, but I think they're going 0-5 no matter who starts at quarterback. At this point, I can see Malik Neighbors going over to Dayball and say, "Get me Jameis Winston and get me 18 targets a game because whatever we're doing is not working." All right, things I learned. I don't know if I learned this, but I confirmed this. I've been saying this for a year. Mike McDaniel will be fired. I thought he was going to get fired in that international game in week I don't even know what week it is, 9, 10, 11. It might be before that. Okay, that I learned. Next thing I learned was that the 49ers, they are beat up absolutely everywhere, and they still went into Seattle and won. So I think you can go ahead and lock the 49ers up for the playoffs. I don't care how many injuries they have. I don't care who's playing. Like, their schedule is easiest in the league, and they just won with those injuries. So I think the 49ers are going to be a playoff team this year. And then I've been saying this for a couple of weeks, but coaching matters. Those Lions, they look bad. Doesn't matter how many good players you are. If you lose 8 coaches, I thought I did not think that looked good. I think a lot of people are hoping Dan Campbell keeps that culture going this offseason with the new coaches. I know it's only week 1, but we'll see how that goes. All right, let's get over into fantasy. I call this section busted, but don't worry. So week 1, who busted, but don't worry about it. It's 1 week. They'll come back next week. They'll have a great season.
yeah, I'm gonna start off with just top name on the board, Jamar Chase. Not too worried about that. Bengals always do this, and this year was no exception. Thought maybe them playing the preseason might change things. It did not. He'll be fine. Next up, I'm gonna go Nico Collins. Not his best game this week. Just in general, the Texans were off offensively. Like maybe I do have some minor concerns with Stroud just because he looks so bad, but Nico Collins will be fine. I'm not like looking to sell him off or trade him if I got him. I trust that the volume will be there and not every defense will be as strong as the Rams. And then I got Omari and Hampton. I think the volume's going to be there. I think they're going to play teams that have weaker defenses than the Chiefs, and there's going to be more holes for him to hit. I think he's definitely going to have opportunity to score some touchdowns in this offense. So I like what I saw, despite there not being a ton of fantasy points in week 1.
All right, I'm going to go I'll touch on your Jamar thing. With Jamar, I got Burrow. Burrow got 8 points this week. I am not concerned at all. They did this last year, and he had a great season. Mark Andrews had 1.5 points. I was hot on him this week, but the Ravens just never got in the red zone. Like they kept scoring from deep out. So, like, Andrews never really got his targets, so I'm not super worried about him. They just got to get in the red zone for him to get some more targets. McLaurin, slow week, but he had a slow offseason, didn't practice much. I'm not super worried about him. I think he'll get it going. Bo Nix had 6.84 fantasy points. I really think that the Broncos were just like trying stuff out this week. I think they knew they were going to win this game no matter what, and they were just messing around. I'm confident about Nix going forward. And the last one on here is Ravens D. They had -7 points. They just played the Bills. I still think the Ravens is like a top 5 D in the NFL. So I'm not worried about the Ravens D. I think they're going to have some good weeks here coming up. All right, next category. This is called Busted, but officially panicking. So these players busted, but it might be time to worry, and it's only week 1. So who is that?
Yeah, I'm going to start off with Kenneth Walker. Flat out just pretty much kind of losing his job to Charbonnet. He did have some pass game work, but still like not a great look, especially considering that Darnold didn't really do much other than spam JSN.
So Charbonnet actually got more carries than Walker. And Charbonnet is also turning out to be the short distance goal line touchdown guy. So, yeah, I would be concerned about Kenneth Walker, absolutely.
Next up, you actually just had him, but I'm going to say Mark Andrews, just on the fact that Isaiah likely is hurt and didn't play, and he'll be back soon, and they just scored 40 points, and Mark Andrews managed 1 catch. It's a little bit concerning for my top, if that's like my tight end, I would definitely be a little bit worried about that kind of volume. And then lastly, A.J. Brown, terrible flop. I think as a player in that offense, fine, but I am very much concerned as far as like what this injury situation is, because they haven't really said anything. He's not like on injury reports, but he just didn't look right in that game.
Okay, I was on this one all offseason. Tyreek Hill, I'm worried. I don't have him on any of my teams, but if you do, you should be a little worried. Tua looked off. The Dolphins looked off. Tyreek, I can see getting like traded or like missing weeks or just like not being on the field. Like he was unhappy. Tyreek, Waddle, both of them.
Is traded a bad thing for Tyreek at this point? Like, if you have Tyreek on your team, would you rather him just get traded at this point?
It depends where. It depends how many weeks he would miss.
Like, what if he goes back to the Chiefs?
I would like that. That's different. Yeah. I mean, that's automatic chemistry. That's automatic 20 points, touchdown a game type thing. But, like, if you send, let's see, AFC,
What about to the Steelers?
I mean, that's not... Let's get rid of George Pickens and bring in Tyreek Hill. Let's bring in Tyreek Hill and DK Metcalf. Just doesn't make sense.
Could work.
Okay. I would be worried about Cam Scatterboo if he's on your team. 2.9 points. He had 2 carries, 2 catches. Their offense is just not good. His volume's not going to be there. I'm worried about him. Nick Chubb, you said in the offseason he was looking really bad. Well, he just got 6 points on 13 carries as the RB1. That's not ideal. So I would be definitely worried about Chubb. The last one I'm going to put on here is Isaiah Pacheco. If you have Isaiah Pacheco on your team, I'd be looking to trade him or get him off before it gets really bad. He had 5 carries for 4.8 yards. So it kind of seems like the Chiefs are not running the ball this much. And then it also seems like Pacheco's not the third down guy. So you got Kareem Hunt in there on third downs catching the ball. And also the short yardage, like we got to get 1 or 2 yards goal line. That's also Kareem Hunt. So I don't know where Pacheco's going to get his numbers at this year. I don't think the volume is there, and I don't think the touchdowns are there. So I would try to get Pacheco off that lineup as quick as possible. What do you think about Pacheco?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan there. I don't think the volume is like really good enough or consistent enough to be like super reliable. So.
All right, and then who are players that you got to buy into the hype? Whether that's the offseason, week 1, like just buy into it. It's set, it's ready.
Yeah, so I think all of the Chargers wide receivers are decent options. I think Quentin Johnston is fine if you want to go grab him. He's, not super cheap on waivers this week, but still go grab him. Keenan Allen, I think, is like a viable starter. Ladd, obviously very startable. I think those 3 guys are going to get pretty much most of the work in that offense. I think we see enough volume in this offense to support, 3 different guys. I don't think it'll be consistent week to week. Like it's always going to be this guy up top, but I think you're going to have enough good weeks where you can, be starting those guys. Emeka Egbuka, I
Woo!
think he's legit. He's going to be big in this offense. Godwin, even when he comes back, we don't know what kind of like efficiency we're going to have there. I think I'm fully on board here. I'm not worried about Godwin coming back and like him just completely going to the bench. He's been too good. He's still going to stay on the field. He's still going to get work. Keon Coleman, look, big Keon hater last year. The thing is, Keon spent 1 year in the NFL to wash off the stink of Florida State, and now he's a Michigan State Spartan in the NFL. And yeah, he looked good. I think in this offense, they need somebody to catch the football. If Josh Allen's going to be throwing for 300 plus yards, probably somebody's going to be catching 100 yards. And Keon looked like that guy. He looked well dynamic yesterday. He looked a little bit different. There've been a lot of positive reports out of camp about him, and he was definitely showing that. And then lastly, I'm gonna go Travis Etienne. Tank Bigsby traded. Etienne looked great. I know it was against the Panthers, but with Bigsby gone, like, yeah, he's the guy. This is a system that's very friendly to running backs, so yeah, definitely liking that if I'm a Etienne owner.
All right, I got two different ones for you here. This is going to be a taco shout out. He gave us this guy a while ago, Harold Fannin Jr. He played 72% of the offensive snaps. Njoku played, I think, 80% of the offensive snaps, so not a big difference in offensive snap percentage. Harold Fannin Jr., 7 for 9. Njoku, the other tight end, 3 for 6. So that's a big deal that Flacco right out of the gate is hitting his rookie tight end on nine targets. I'm buying all the hype. Harold Fannin Jr. led the NCAA last year with 124 yards a game. You don't draft the leading college receiver to not use him for receptions. I mean, so I'm buying into all that hype. And then we got to get this guy's name right. Elik Iomanor. I saw some big things out of camp out of him, the Tennessee Titans wide receiver. Now, he only had 2 catches this week, but he had 7 targets and played 80% of the offensive snaps. So, I mean, I know Ridley was getting boxed up by Surtain on the Broncos, but hey, like, you're a rookie. You're getting 7 targets on 80% snaps on offense. Like, that's somebody I got to watch. I got to get on my bench going forward. Maybe a good dynasty player to get on your team, honestly. For the next 10 years with Titans and the Cam Ward. All right, staying on fantasy, let's go into week 2 starts. Who's starting this week?
Starting this week, we're going to pick on the Panthers. I'm going James Conner. He did get in the end zone last week, kind of saved his week. He really didn't run the ball very well against the Saints, but playing the Panthers this week, that's going to change. I would not be surprised to see about 100 yards, 1 or 2 touchdowns. Big game in line for James Conner. Next up, we are going to go Javonte Williams playing the Giants. Giants just gave up some nice rushing yards to Washington this week. This is actually a game where the Cowboys are favored. They're at home. Everything's setting up nice. Last week I felt was a little bit fluky for like Javonte in some aspects, but the volume was definitely there. And if we get volume against the Giants, we like that. And lastly, I'm gonna go Brenton Strange against the Bengals. This is a game that I expect a somewhat shootout. The Jags are gonna be slinging it around. The Bengals just gave up 1 million catches to Harold Fannin and to David Njoku. They had double digit. I don't know exactly how many it was, but a lot. The tight ends
9 plus 6, so they had 15 targets.
15 targets.
They had 12 catches on 15 targets to the tight ends. Yeah.
So I like Brenton Strange this week at Cincinnati.
All right, my week 2 starts. Get Travis Hunter in there versus Cincinnati. I think he actually had a slower week last week than they wanted him to. I think Travis Hunter has a good week. Jaylen Warren versus Seattle. He is turning out to be the RB1 there for the Steelers. I like Warren. DeAndre Swift versus Detroit. DeAndre Swift was on 81% of the offensive snaps, and I think Ben Johnson is using him a lot. He's going to want to use him a lot against his old team at Detroit. Zach Charbonnet versus Pittsburgh. Charbonnet is getting most of the work. I like him. Rome Odunze versus Detroit, another Bears player here. He's playing 94% of the offensive snaps, and again, Ben Johnson playing his old team. Let's hope Odunze gets him going. I like Keon Coleman versus the Jets. He had 11 targets in week 1. Let's keep him in there. And then last one, DK Metcalf versus Seattle. I just think it's a revenge game. I think they want to get him a touchdown, get him some catches. So revenge game for DK Metcalf versus Seattle. Week 2 sits. Who you got?
I'm going to start off a little bit of fantasy darling here. Bill Krosky-Merritt. Don't love the matchup there against Green Bay. I think this is a game where they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more against this defense. I think that's going to kind of lean into being a little bit more of an Austin Eckler game. So I'm a little bit scared to start him this week. Still like him for the rest of the season. Just don't love this matchup. Next, I'm going Michael Pittman. You are a wide receiver playing the Broncos. That is a bad thing. I know Colts just had a great week this week, but I'm not liking this setup here for Pittman. And lastly, Quinshon Judkins. It sounds like he's going to practice this week. I would assume that means he plays if he practices. Either way, this is going to be a horrible game script for him. He's more of the bruiser running back playing against the Ravens. They'll probably be playing from behind. This is probably more of a receiving back, Dylan Sampson type game.
Dylan Sampson had a nice game.
Eight catches.
Yeah. All right, these are my week 2 sits. I'm going to put Tyrone Tracy in there. He did not have a great week 1. They're playing Dallas. They're going to be losing. I just don't think for the running backs, you really got to be ahead. You really got to be leading, and if you're not leading, then you got to be catching passes. So I would keep Tyrone Tracy on the bench this week versus Dallas. Jonathan Taylor had a decent week last week versus Denver. I think it's going to be a much low-scoring game. Good defense. Don't like Jonathan Taylor. Last one here, Tony Pollard versus the Rams. I think it's going to be another low-scoring game. Probably no touchdowns for Pollard. And you know what? Cam Ward did not check it down to Pollard that much in week 1. I think you said maybe he doesn't check it down that much in general. Is that true?
He hunts the bigger plays. Did not throw the ball to running backs a ton. He did on the literally the first drive of the game. He had this sick play where he scrambled out and
Pollard had one catch. I would have liked to have seen 4 or 5 targets, and it's not there.
I will say the offensive line was breaking down so bad for the Titans. They were having to use the running backs for blocking a lot from what I was seeing, just to stop the pass rush. So there was just less opportunity for leaking out for passes. But yeah, definitely most of the stuff was either Cam getting sacked or looking at the wide receivers, a lot of drops. But
all right, let's get over into the waiver wire. Week 1, so a lot of players on the waiver wire to look at. Who quarterbacks? Who's on the waiver wire potentially we should look at?
Yeah, just based on their week 1 performances, I think a Justin Fields or even a Daniel Jones is someone to keep an eye on. Daniel Jones has that rushing upside, so situationally, I think that's a streaming option. Justin Fields, I think, is pretty much an any week option if he's going to be running the ball like that.
Yeah, I got Gino on here. I think Gino put up 17 or 18 fantasy, but he's good for 15 or 18 fantasy points.
He had 350 yards. He was the only quarterback that was putting up big yards,
right?
Which was cool to see as an Ashton Genty owner. So that was great.
I'm gonna go over into wide receivers here. Obviously, Quentin Johnston. He's got to be the big waiver wire target.
Yeah.
Kind of a bust the last 2 years, but after seeing that week 1 performance, man, he might have turned the corner. We'll see. Also, I'm putting Calvin Austin III in here. I wouldn't go spending a ton of FOB money on Calvin Austin III, but hey, if you need a 4th or 5th receiver on your team, go grab him. What else you got?
Yeah, running back, Dylan Sampson, if he's still out there, go grab him. I know Judkins is probably about to be more of a factor, but this is still a team that I expect to be losing most games. So if he is going to be that kind of passing game, get that kind of passing game work, I'm not saying he's getting 8 catches a week, but if he's getting 5 or 6 catches a week, you throw in a couple carries with that, that could be a bye week fill-in. Bashal Tutin, you can go grab him if he's available. He's probably going to be the number 2 guy. It's either going to be him or LaQuint Allen behind Travis Etienne. This is an offense that it is good to be the running back in. So even if it's just as a handcuff, not bad to have. And then Trey Benson looked good in his limited work for the Cardinals. He had busted a 50-yard run. If anything happens to James Conner, he falls into a nice role, and it looks like he's getting some burn anyways.
There's a lot of good tight ends on the waiver wire. If you don't have one now, if you have Kittle who just got hurt, if Bowers doesn't play this week, there's a lot of good guys. Go look at, like we said, Harold Fannin Jr. is a catching tight end. Jonnu Smith in that Steelers offense with Arthur Smith is going to be catching passes. Zach Ertz is probably available. He is one of Jaden Daniels' favorite targets, and Dallas Goedert is probably likely available. He just went 7 for 7 in week 1 with AJ Brown doing whatever he's doing. Goddard might be a
Yeah, go get Jawan Johnson.
Jawan John.
That's
Is that a Saints player?
Saints good. He had 11 targets this past week, so
In the offseason,
big week.
I was going through the Saints depth chart, and like I had Jawan Johnson circled, and I was like, I can't think this is a real option. And like when you go through the team, like it's pretty bleak, and he did get targeted.
It was the passing game in New Orleans this week was so weird.
Speak about New
Rattler,
Orleans. What with those uniforms? Talk about
they were terrible.
Talk about the who signed off on that? Who made that uniform? Looked at those and said, "Yes, we need to show that off to 50 million people this week."
I'm sure those black jerseys look sick with the black, or the black shorts look good with the black jerseys, and I'm sure the gold looks fine with the gold. Don't put those together like that. That was horrible. It was so bad.
It looked like someone vomited on a Wake Forest jersey and then like threw it on the Saints players and were like, "Yes, that's what we're wearing." I don't know. It was
the poor people that actually had to watch Saints versus Cardinals because that was your local game, had to sit and watch those uniforms.
I don't know. Maybe they're just like, we're going to be so bad. Let's put some bad uniforms on and it'll be a talking point.
But
I don't know.
Anyway, so I was saying, the Rattler threw like 46 passes this week, I think. And Kamara had 2 targets. But you have Jawan Johnson with 11. Like, the passing game for the Saints this week was very, very weird. That is, I mean, that's almost backwards from what you'd think, especially with like a quarterback just getting into it. You'd expect a lot of like little dump offs, little stuff like that. But I mean, I guess it could be, a lot of it was dump offs, I guess, to Jawan Johnson, but it's just the areas of the field that they're looking at.
All right, let's get into gambling. Let's get into the good stuff. Week 1, we both went 1-2, so absolutely glorious week 1 for us. I mean, week 1
that is an improvement for me. So
if we go 1-2 in week 1, we're looking at a great year ahead. So
seriously, like next year, I'm not betting actual teams. I'm just betting unders in week 1.
You're going to bet uniform colors week 1.
I'm a bet unders, and I'll go 3-0 into week 2, and I'll be very happy.
Maybe we can use that as a rule next year. Okay, so I got Broncos that hit. Seahawks missed. That Seahawks bet. I still like that bet, and I still would have done it again. The Seahawks should have won that game. Texans missed. You took Cardinals. That was a easy one. You took Patriots that lost, and Bears lost.
Bears blew it on me.
I thought you locked that Bears up when it was like 17-6.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the games this week. Thursday, we got Commanders at Packers. Packers are favored by 3.5. On Sunday, 1 p.m. slate, we get Browns at Ravens. Ravens favored by 11.5. Jaguars at Bengals. Bengals favored by 3. Giants at Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 11.5. I'm sorry. Giants at Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 5.5. Bears at Lions. Lions favored by 5.5. Pats at Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 1.5. 49ers at Saints. Saints getting 4.5. Bills at Jets. Jets getting 7. Seahawks at Steelers. Steelers -3. Rams at Titans. Titans getting 5.5. 4 p.m. window. We get Panthers at Cardinals. Cardinals -6.5. Broncos at Colts. Colts +1.5. Eagles at Chiefs. Chiefs +1.5. And then late night on Sunday, we get Falcons at Vikings. Vikings -4.5. Monday, we get 2 games, but they are on different times. We get Bucks at Texans at 7 p.m. Texans are -2.5. And then real late game, Chargers at Raiders, 10 p.m. Raiders are getting 3.5. What are your bets of the week?
Yeah, I'm going to loop it back. I'm going to go Denver Broncos. You took them last week. I'm taking them this week. -1.5 at the Colts. I don't think the Colts replicate what they did. I think Denver's the better team. I think Denver plays a little better this week. I'm taking the Broncos there. Next, I do not want to watch this at all. I feel terrible about it, but Cleveland +11.5. That's a lot of points. I think this offense, Flacco is going to spread it around enough. The Ravens defense is a little bit suspect to me. I think Cleveland's going to be able to throw the ball against them, score enough points to keep it, within that 11.5. And lastly, I'm taking the Bengals -3 home game against the Jaguars. Jaguars got to beat up on the Panthers. I don't think that's the kind of team they are. I think Cincinnati finally gets their get-right game, and the offense starts looking like normal Cincinnati Bengals offense.
All right, I'm going to side with you on one of these here. When we go together on bets, we don't miss. I got the Browns +11.5. There's a few reasons why I like that bet. I have a rule like what is it? AFC North is it? Yeah. So AFC North, if there is a spread that is double digit, you always take the underdog. This division, like it doesn't matter how good or how bad the teams are. These are just tough games. The Browns play the Ravens twice a year. They know how to defend Lamar. Like Cleveland doesn't play the Ravens that bad, regardless of how good of a team they are. So I love the Browns plus 11.5 here. I'm going to take the Falcons plus 4.5 on Sunday night at the Vikings. I think that's a lot of points for a Sunday night game. I can see this being a field goal game. Don't know if they win, but I'll take Falcons plus 4.5. And then Monday night, I will take the Chargers minus 3.5. So the Chargers played Friday in Brazil, and then they play Monday. So that's what, 7, 8, 9. That's a 10-day break with John Harbaugh. I like that. I'll take the Chargers minus 3.5. So, Andrew, with Browns, Bengals, and Broncos, I got Browns, Falcons, and Chargers. Lock them in. That is nice, though. So they play a game in Brazil, which kind of sucks. But then you get a long, not even a Sunday game, a Monday game. It's a week and a half off. That's a lot of rest there. All right, Survivor Pool. So it's locked up. You can't enter. It was open for a while. Total, we had 187 entries. 187 entries. After the first week, we are down to 161 contestants left. Let's take you through some of these numbers here. The biggest pick of the week was Denver. Denver took 30.6% of the picks. Second biggest of the week was Arizona. Arizona took 28.3% of the picks, and the third biggest of the week was the Commanders at 11%. I took Denver. Did you take Arizona?
I did take Arizona, yeah.
Both of those were closer than we would have liked.
They were, yeah, they were like it felt like Arizona kind of had it under control, but they were kind of struggling to close them out, which I guess is about right for Arizona.
So yeah, Survivor Pool. The teams that eliminated the most people: Chicago, Miami, and New England eliminated the most people this week from our pool. I am shocked at. I'm really shocked that so many people took Miami. I thought everyone knew Miami was bad, and even going into the Colts, who aren't great, like I was not thinking they were going to win that game. Yeah, I was shocked how many people took Miami.
Yeah, I want to shout a little RIP to my sister. She took the Falcons. Unfortunately, did not work out. She got some bad info somewhere along the way. I'm sorry, Jordan.
I think she was the only one that took the Falcons.
All right, well, you don't have to call her out like that, but
I'm sorry, Jordan. You can try again next year. All right. Yeah, that's our survivor pool. We're going into week 2. We got 161 contestants left. There was no entry fee, $500 cash to the winner. So we will keep that going throughout the year. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube at screenplay_podcast. Like and subscribe. We're on socials at screenplay_podcast. New episodes every Wednesday, 8 a.m., wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, check out the screenplaypodcast.com. On there, you can find merch, picks of the week, guest info, and much more. All right, going into NFL week 2. If your fantasy squad lost in week 1, don't worry. It's just week 1. Trust your draft. Keep it going. Don't give up. Any other words, Andrew?
no, I mean we're in the middle of football season now. It is official. Week 2 coming up. Get your waivers in, get everything you need, and good luck this week.
Yeah, we are in the thick of it. All right. Appreciate y'all listening. We will see y'all next week.